making cauliflower mash today, and I tried this the other day for the first time, and the biggest thing I learned was as soon as you take it off the steamer and strain it, you have to put it right into the processor. It works best when you do it hot, so then you just go ahead. You start? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of milk. There's a ton of recipes out there. I just tend to go rogue, so the key though is you don't want to add too much. I do a little bit of butter and a little bit of sour cream. I like to add the same things to cauliflower mash that I would my regular mashed potatoes because I still like those flavors and it still gives it a really good texture. I was surprised to find that if you actually process it enough, it does have the exact same texture as regular mashed potatoes. Parmesan cheese is key. Most of the recipes I found actually said to add some chopped garlic. I use 1/4 of what is recommended on every recipe because it tends to have a really strong aftertaste, and I really just don't like it that much. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of that and then a little bit of pepper, and then I'm gonna blend it together one more time. Actually a little bit easier than regular mashed potatoes because when I make mashed potatoes, I hand whip them. I don't use a mixer. You can't do that in order to get the consistency you want with the cauliflower mash, so everything's done just right with the processor. So I just keep doing that and checking it. The key is trying to get that same consistency. When you think you're there, you're probably not, and you need just a little bit more. But eventually it will get to that. And it looks exactly like mashed potatoes. It tastes almost like mashed potatoes, and it's a way healthier option. So I'm making sauteed green beans today, and I like to dice up fresh strawberries and I saute them in there, and then I'm also gonna add some fresh bacon today. So I already made the bacon and I let it cool, and now I can just chop it up and make my own bacon bits. Okay, so for the green beans, I just saute it with fresh strawberries. That's where I get all the juice from. You don't even have to use oil or water. And then I add some pecan halves into it just to give it a little bit of crunch. I personally like the fresh bacon bits, but not everybody in my family eats bacon. My mom does not. So before I add those in, because it's the very last part, I can just put a little bit aside because she loves this dish just as it is. She'll still get to enjoy some. And now I'll add the bacon for the rest of the family. Okay, so at the end of the day for my Thanksgiving sides, I've got the cauliflower mash that I made, the green beans with fresh strawberries, pecans, and fresh bacon bits. And I also made a homemade cranberry sauce. For this, honestly, all I did was fresh squeezed orange juice and some cranberries. You put it in, I use half of the amount of sugar that any recipe online asks for. You really don't need it. The fresh orange juice and the cranberries themselves have some sugar in them. Fresh fruit has sugar, so I don't use all of that sugar. I just put half the amount, I add the water, you simmer it, and then you pull it off and you cool it. The orange zest I got from the oranges just before I squeezed them, so I just peeled a little bit of the zest off, put it aside, and then squeeze the orange juice, and that makes the most delicious cranberry sauce ever. Don't do canned anymore. It's not worth it. Anyways, that's what I do for my Thanksgiving sides. Thanks.